Before the sector went wild for David Cassidy or Sean Cassidy, there was Bobby Sherman, a name that made teenage hearts race within the overdue 60s and early 70s. He changed into the ultimate teenager idol, along with his boyish attraction, catchy songs, and a smile that lit up the covers of magazines like 16 and Tiger Beat. At the height of his reputation, Bobby regarded to have it all. He starred in his very own hit TV display, racked up chart-topping singles, and achieved to screaming crowds of adoring fanatics. But in a past that taken aback many, Bobby walked far away from his thriving song career to turn out to be something entirely one of a kind. Now, at 81, Bobby Sherman is hardly ever recognizable. However, not for the motives you would possibly assume. So how did he cross from a pop sensation to who he is today? Let's dive in and find out. Bobby Sherman's tale begins on July 22, 1943, in sunny California, where he was born as Robert Cabot Sherman, Jr. Life for Bobby took its first flip whilst his own family moved from Santa Monica to Van Nuys within the San Fernando Valley. He became just 9 years old then. However, this past could set the degree for the boy who would grow as much as attraction, a whole technology. By the time Bobby turned into 11, his passion for tunes started to emerge. It began with a trumpet, but little did all people understand, this boy wouldn't stop at just one device. Over the years, Bobby would master 16 of them, from piano to guitar to trombone. His enthusiasm wasn't confined to track. At 13, he spent his time cautiously crafting 3-scale fashions of Disneyland. During his excessive faculty years at Birmingham High School, Bobby juggled football, the faculty band, and an early love for singing. And by using 1961, he graduated, prepared to tackle the next chapter of his life. He enrolled at Pierce College in Woodland Hills, California, to examine toddler psychology, but fate, as it frequently does, had different plans. The one night time, Bobby's female friend invited him to a celebration celebrating the movie The Greatest Story Ever Told. This wasn't simply any birthday celebration, it was full of Hollywood stars like Natalie Wood, Jane Fonda, and Salmonio. Bobby, feeling the pull of the instant, joined the band and sang What I'd Say by using Ray Charles. It wasn't just his buddies who had been inspired. The room became humming with exhilaration. A celeb of the era, become mainly thinking about Bobby. He approached him with a suggestion to help manage his career. Bobby, amused and a touch bewildered, asked, "What do you suggest by using Coping with Me?" But soon he learned what Hollywood had in store for him. Within 3 days, an agent, who were at the celebration, were given him an audition for the hit youngster track Display, Shindig. And much like that, Bobby landed the position. Though his stint on Shindig lasted most effective 2 years, it turned into lengthy sufficient to make Bobby Sherman famous. His boyish allure and expertise captured hearts throughout the nation, but the repute came with a value. Bobby became thrust right into a whirlwind of non-stop work, 7 days per week, with slightly a moment to respire. When Shindig resulted in 1,966, Bobby failed to disappear. He made guest appearances on shows like The Monkees and Honey West, and even tried his hand at freeing track, but his big destroy got here in 1968. When he landed the role of Jeremy Bolt on the TV show Here Come the Brides. His portrayal of the stuttering, lovable Jeremy won over audiences and cemented the show's region as a success on ABC. Bobby Sherman have become a household call while he performed Jason Bolt on Here Come the Brides. For years, his individual gained over audiences, along with his appeal and warmth. Although Jason eventually misplaced the stutter, the show itself couldn't escape cancellation. Still, Bobby's portrayal left a lasting effect on enthusiasts. The moment Bobby realized he turned into no longer just an actor came in the course of a telethon in Buffalo. The display had simplists lately started out airing, and Bobby hadn't even launched any information yet. But while the fireplace marshal interrupted the event announcing, Bobby had to come upstairs, the entirety modified. Looking out the window, Bobby noticed a big crowd outside, ready simply to look him. That became the instant he understood the value of his developing repute. After a while, Bobby observed himself at a crossroads. Unsure of his subsequent steps, he started out exploring song, writing his own songs and experimenting with recording systems. It was at some stage in this era of discovery that Bobby's profession took any other turn. He had become a professional singer. In 1969, Bobby launched his first big hit, Little Woman. The tune skyrocketed to Variety 3 at the Billboard Hot 100 chart, promoting over 1 million copies and incomes him a gold document. With his track career taking off, Bobby's agenda became a whirlwind of hobby packed with journeying and recording classes. He even wrote a column for Tiger Beat magazine, similarly cementing his connection along with his younger adoring fanatics. Bobby observed up Little Woman with other hits like Julie, Do Ya Love Me, and Easy Come, Easy Go. He defined his songwriting process as starting with an unmarried idea, one line, and building the rest of the lyrics and song round it. The formula worked. At the peak of his repute, Bobby was receiving 2,5,0,0,0 fan letters a week. His popularity, mainly amongst teenage women, turned into overwhelming. The mixture of Here Come the Brides and his tune profession solidified Bobby's status as a teenager idol. While he wasn't sure how he felt about the label, it changed into undeniable that his repute had reached meteoric tiers. He toured throughout America and the arena, acting for bought-out crowds of screaming lovers. The intensity of their screams became so deafening that Bobby ultimately lost some of his hearing. Bobby's career achievements were outstanding. He released 107 songs, had 7 top 40 hits, earned 7 gold singles, or even executed 1 platinum single. His face turned into everywhere, on lunch-packing containers, posters, and in magazines. Even after Here Come the Brides and its Observe Up getting together ended, Bobby remained a familiar face in entertainment. He visitor starred on famous shows like The Mod Squad, The Love Boat, and Murder, She Wrote. He also ventured into movie, appearing in films just like the 1983 comedy Get Crazy, wherein he and fellow teen idol Fabian performed henchmen for a villainous promoter. But at the back of the fame and song, Bobby's non-public lifestyles became just as captivating, full of love, circle of relatives, and unexpected twists. Bobby Sherman's love story, along with his first spouse, Patty Carmel, started out only by way of chance. Patty became traveling a chum named Diane, who passed off to stay within the equal building as Bobby. Diane and Patty, to start with idea Bobby, turned into the host of the TV show Shindig, an laugh case of flawed identity that set the degree for their assembly. Soon after, Bobby and Patty began courting and subsequently moved in collectively. They got married and had 2 sons, Christopher and Tyler. Bobby became a palms-on dad from the beginning, even being in the shipping room for Tyler's birth. His willpower to fatherhood became clear, and he took first-rate pleasure in setting a fine example. Bobby by no means smoked or drank, saying it turned into something he virtually in no way got into, and as a father, failed to want to steer his youngsters negatively. Bobby adored his sons and poured his creativity into their formative years. He even spent $15,000 building a miniature Disneyland of their outdoor, a dream come genuine for his boys. In the early 1970s, lifestyles seemed image best for Bobby. He had a booming music profession, a success TV display, and a beautiful circle of relatives. But now, not all fairy tales last all the time. In 1979, Bobby and Patty divorced. Although Bobby stayed close to his sons, making sure he remained a consistent presence of their lives, Patty ultimately remarried David Soul, Bobby's co-megastar from Here Come the Brides. Sadly, that marriage became afflicted, with Soul later admitting to Abby. Through it all, Bobby kept a strong bond together with his sons. They even helped him live related to the ever-changing track scene. introducing him to bands like Depeche Mode. Bobby located it amusing and barely unnerving that younger audiences have been discovering reruns of his old TV shows. Fame, he admitted, turned into something he wasn't sure he'd need to relive. Life wasn't without its challenges. In his later years, Bobby had an unsettling encounter with a stalker, Ethel Richards, a fan since her teenage years, asking to go to him. Bobby, now not taking the scenario critically at the beginning, ignored the correspondence. But Ethel wasn't deterred. She traveled through Greyhound bus to Los Angeles and confirmed up unannounced at Bobby's domestic in Encino. After ringing the doorbell and being spotted on Bobby's protection digicam, police were known as. Though she first of all left earlier than authorities arrived, Ethel backed later that day, leading to her arrest and a court docket look. Despite those incidents, Bobby's life took a significant flip. While elevating his youngsters, he located his knack for first useful resource. His spouse wasn't cushy dealing with accidents, so Bobby stepped in, learning the talents to care for his son's scraped knees and bloody noses. Inspired by way of his abilities, he decided to take first resource training, understanding he should make a distinction in emergencies. Then, at the height of his profession, Bobby made an ambitious and unexpected selection. He walked away from the music and TV spotlight to devote his lifestyles to something a ways greater important, saving lives. After receiving extra training, Bobby Sherman had become an EMT and even mastered the usage of a defibrillator. His passion for assisting others led him to set up his own non-profit EMT application, volunteering around 40 hours a month for several years. The LAPD took word of Bobby's determination and invited him to sign up for their police academy.